Thank you, Meg. I have a comment and then a question, I think. First, the comment is on the Lindenwood neighbor viewers, and something that tells me a lot about your character is from time to time I see you mowing your lawn on a Sunday afternoon, looking like you're having a ball on your riding lawnmower, and that, I think that says a lot about you, and I mean that seriously. The question I have, of course, is one you probably get over and over again, is that despite your success in business, the world of politics is very different. And particularly dealing with the state legislature and the dysfunctional structural problems that we have in California government. How is your business success going to carry over into what is really a very different environment?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And yeah, I love mowing the lawn. We've got our little riding mower, it's great. Yeah, so there's no question that government is not a business, and there are many differences. But I will tell you, my belief is this all starts with leadership. What great leaders do is inspire people to work together for positive change. And I think we have a vacuum of leadership in California. And here's how I think we have to go about exercising that leadership. First is focus. I promise you, you cannot go to Sacramento and try to boil the ocean. You will be stymied at every turn by the legislature, by the incumbent interests, by the bureaucracy. So let's focus on those three things that I talked about. And then you have to figure out what are the levers that you can pull to make change happen. And the first lever that no one really talks about is the appointments process. Did you know that the governor of California gets over 3,000 appointments to his or her administration? That's the agency heads, the department heads, the gubernatorial appointments to the 395 boards and commissions that we have in California. So those top 300 individuals are incredibly important. I did not run eBay by myself. I will not govern California by myself. You are only as good as the people that you hire to work with you. Because much of the cost reduction work that can be done, much of the streamlining of government, much of the streamlining of regulations can actually be done without the legislature. The second thing is the governor has to work with the legislature, but the legislature has to work with the governor, because in California we have line item veto. And so my view is, let's stop the bill factory that is in California. Last year, over 692 bills were signed into law in California, virtually none of which was on point to the crisis that we face. So let's stop doing all the new things. There will be a few emergency things we must do, but let's focus on fixing our current problems. So can we bring the legislature together? Who wants to be on the education team? Who wants to be on the streamlining the regulation team? Who wants to be on the cutting government spending team? Who wants to be on creating jobs team? And I actually think through focus, through bringing people together, but also using the veto pen, in some ways the next governor of California has to have a spine of steel. Because if you have a huge need to be liked, this is not a good job person fit. So I think that is how you approach this. Frankly, I think it's going to be very important to have someone who deeply understands the economy, who knows the conditions that you have to create jobs in small businesses. The government doesn't actually create jobs. The government can create the conditions for small businesses to grow and thrive. So I think at this particular point in time, having someone who understands jobs, who understands understands budgets, understands how to do things more efficiently with less. I mean, think about it. We live in an area of the world where technology makes us more productive every year. Those of you who run companies, how do you do more with less? Technology. California is not deploying technology in a way that would make you proud as taxpayers. So that's how you go about it. And it will never be as seamless and efficient as business, but we can, I think, inject a whole new point of view. And what I will tell you is, you know what I've learned over the years, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and hoping for different results. And we have to change the way we do things in Sacramento because it's not working. Thanks for that question. Yeah.
Hi, Meg. To be a good leader, I have experienced that you have to have a vision that you get people to believe in, and you want to invoke them working together, which I think is a great ideal. But what is the key vision that would unite Californians in such a divisive environment, and also such a fearful environment where people are feeling unstable and unsteady about what's going to happen with the economy in the short and medium term?
Yeah. You know, I think the number one issue, and I have now traveled all over California, and by the way, every Californian should see California the way I have. This is an incredible state we live in, from Arcata and Eureka in the north, all through the Central Valley to the Inland Empire and San Diego and up through LA. It is a remarkable, remarkable place. But what I see every single day, the source of people's anxiety, if you could isolate it to one thing, is this notion of, will I have a job? Will my son or daughter have a job? The company just left. Will I be available? And of course, when you lose your job, so much else goes with it. Your health care goes with it, your ability to pay your rent. And I see the stories every day. I was down in the Inland Empire the other day talking to a young man who couldn't go back to UC this past fall because the fees had gone up by 32% and his mother had lost her job. And that was the difference between him being able to go back and not. I was talking to the largest John Deere tractor dealership in California the other day. They are letting people go who have worked for their company for 30 years because the farm industry is at a standstill due to the water crisis. So if I had to isolate, the source of anxiety is this notion of jobs, which is why it is my number one priority. And so I talk about every day on the campaign trail, can we create a new California? And a new California, it's interesting, when I talk about it, older Californians come up to me and they say, that is the California I grew up in, where jobs were plentiful, the schools were great, roads were new, and anything was possible in California. Younger Californians say, interestingly, they want the same thing. They want great schools, they want good jobs that they can earn a living at, and they want California to be the very best place to start and grow a business. And the sad fact is we're not anymore. You know, this was a wake-up call for me, because in about, I'm going to say 2003, 2004, at eBay, we realized that if we were starting eBay again, we might not start it in California. Taxation, bureaucracy, regulation. It breaks my heart. We just lost Northrop Grumman, the last headquarters of an aerospace company in Long Beach. And you know where they went? They didn't go to India. They didn't go to China. They went to Virginia. How does that work? And I asked the head of Northrop Grumman, I said, by the way, did anyone from the government call you, like offer you a chance to stay, offer you a package, try to understand what was drawing you to Virginia? What do you think the answer to that was? No. So I think it all has to, if I have to just reduce this to one thing, if we can make this a great business climate again, if this is the very best place to start and grow a business, then lots of other things will take care of themselves. So I have to be simple about it. The vision is we have to be the very best place to start and grow a business, and then all other things become possible. Investment in schools, investment in social services, investment in healthcare. But unless you put people back to work, there's no chance, there's no way out of this. Yeah.
Hi, Meg. I met you at the first shareholder meeting after the IPO, and I told you the story of my son who hadn't done well in life, who started a business on eBay, and is a very great success now. And you smiled very broadly. You were happy to hear that story. And if you want, I'll show you the picture of my 3-year-old grandson.
Oh.
But my question is, the tallest person usually wins. Are you bigger than Jerry Brown?
Well, I'm definitely bigger than Steve Poizner. For those of you who don't know, the only Democrat running on the Democratic side is Jerry Brown. Jerry Brown, who's already been governor of California 30 years ago. So it will be a very challenging race. We live in a state that has a lopsided Democrat to Republican registration. But actually, I think we have a very good shot at beating him. It will not be easy, but it will be a contrast for the voters of California, a very, very stark contrast. So I don't know if I'm taller than him, but if I have to debate him, I'll wear heels. Yes.
Meg, as you know, we're considered to be the 7th largest economy. At least I get that all the time. I'm not sure where it stands or whether we're moving up or down, probably down. Our innovation engine is sputtering. Our startups have no place to go for money. They're dropping off. There's no more friends and family. The system is getting really tough. If I look at Sacramento, it looks a little rudderless with respect to that issue. That is, after all, our prime fame in this country, and the world for that matter. What I'd like to ask you is, aside from becoming governor,